took a little bit of not really understanding the complexity of what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like looking back at that now, I feel like an older me finds it more brave than a younger me did. Just a little bit of ignorance to how big of a deal it was. One thing that I've always had my entire life, and I know that was picked up on by my farmers because they've told me, is just a personality that wants to learn and has integrity. And I think that it doesn't matter how old you are, traits like that can show through. And I think what my growers saw was more potential than necessarily a perfectly polished agronomist. The industry needs people to be the entrepreneurs, to be the first people to try products. And there's lots of growers that won't, so you need growers that will. So I never try to deter anyone from trying something. But the amount of them that I've seen work is pretty low.
What kind of courage does it take at 24 to go out on your own and to give people advice? And obviously, a lot of these customers are twice your age.
I think off the start, it took a little bit of not really understanding the complexity of what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like looking back at that now, I feel like an older me finds it more brave than a younger me did. Just a little bit of ignorance to how big of a deal it was, I think is part of it. And also, one thing that I've always had my entire life, and I know that was picked up on by my farmers because they've told me, is just a personality that wants to learn and has integrity. And I think that it doesn't matter how old you are, traits like that can show through. And I think what my growers saw was more potential than necessarily a perfectly polished agronomist because I was only 24 years old.
That's a great answer. And I imagine they saw your potential and having them believe in you probably helped make the leap. Give us a little bit of context about who you are, your background. We were talking about your German ancestry. You can start there if you like.
A long time ago, my grandpa born a boat. No, I I am a town kid. I did not grow up on a farm. Obviously, my I come from a farming background in the sense that yeah, my ancestors are German farmers who came over. But I grew up in town, and I actually started out in biology. That is what I wanted to do. That's what I was in when I originally went to university. But I ended up working as a summer student in agriculture and kind of falling in love with agriculture. So I actually have an agricultural biology degree because that was the easier transition. So yeah, that's how I started out.
Are you using biology in agriculture?
Of course we are.
Tell me more about that.
Well, and I guess the number one thing that I learned, and I didn't realize how important it was going to be, but in biology, there's always rules in biology that then there's always exceptions for. And I find that to be a really obvious thing that I see now when you're dealing with predictions of disease or pest or whatever it is. There's like that level of prediction you can get from understanding biology. And then there's also this unpredictableness that comes with chemistry, biology, physics all coming together, and things don't actually ever go necessarily exactly how you think they will. For example, there's very high sclerotinia predictions this year. And I know fields that weren't sprayed that are full of it. And I know fields that weren't sprayed that are not full of it. And it would have been, just a little bit of conditions or whatever it was that caused that. But the book would tell you this, but then in practice, it actually went differently. So I feel like that was really beat into me in my biology part of my schooling.
Wow, you got beat up in biology. Do you want to talk about that? Was there bullet beating up in biology is a real problem in society
For
today.
sure. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the bio
bullying.
PhD kids, those are the real tough guys you got to watch out
The
for.
biology bullies are for real, but it is a little bit of a religion out there. And you're like, it's such an interesting thing to consider your perspective. 4 years in the industry at 28, and maybe you didn't really come from a time when biology wasn't part of the lexicon or something that everybody was thinking about in agriculture.
Um, I I actually feel like it's just like maybe the hot topics have changed. It's always kind of been something. I would almost say that the industry either uses it in a really good way or a really bad way. Like it's easy to fear monger using biology terms, um, disease, pests, whatever it is, whatever's coming down the pipe. environmental conditions, whatever it is, to kind of scare people. I think that that's always been a big part of the industry. And I guess more now would be like biological products, and that kind of stuff has now actually been more, I don't know, the biology focus. It always has seemed sciencey to me, all of it, but yeah, I guess just
There's
like
some science, but there's some what would you say, I guess, philosophy around it. Where are you on the spectrum from conventional and organic and regenerative, if those are terms? Where would you describe your practice and your philosophy?
I mean, I deal with conventional farmers and I see the value in it for several reasons, including just production itself. Obviously, we know that when people go organic, the level of production goes down significantly, and we're not going to feed the world with organic farming. I also, in regards to like the biological products and stuff, I always encourage people to try things. I think that the industry needs people to be the entrepreneurs, to be the first people to try products. And there's lots of growers that won't. So you need growers that will. So I never try to deter anyone from trying something. But the amount of them that I've seen work is pretty low. I actually am coming up with a net zero off the top of my head right now. But
Wow, 0 for 0 on the biologicals? You're going on the record to say that?
yeah, if I'm wrong, if someone would be like, "Oh, well, you've seen this one and it worked great," I will take that back. But off the top of my head, no.
Biologicals and or biostimulants. Is there categories like, or is just the live bug in the jug? You're good.
The live bug in the jug. Yeah, I honestly can't, and I could be very wrong on that. I will admit, but nothing that has been presented to me has shown great results.
Interesting. Well, isn't a big part of your role to advise producers on company ABC has product XYZ and it's going to change my life in this one, two, three magical kind of way?
Um, that's what I thought my job was going to be a lot of when I started. And when I was a summer student, there was lots of talks of like, which product are we missing? Is it, are we not adding enough copper or whatever it is, or like some little like secret micronutrient that people are all missing that's going to get the extra couple bushels, and that's what we've been missing. Like that's what I thought my job was going to be. I was all gung ho about helping farmers get the few bushels they didn't even know existed. And then what my job actually is a lot of now is you need to go spray that now. Like it is going to stage out if you don't do it in the next 2 days. And the amount of money that you can actually save someone from just literally getting them to do something on time because they're busy is huge.